2026 at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have a few guests, so we'll do roll call.
Stephanie Finnegan, City Council. Laura Backus.
Judy Dvorak.
Randy Anderson, City Council. Oh, Kelly Rule.
Kevin Kerr, Thursday.
Susan Schultz.
Angela Jacobson.
Thank you. And are there any changes that we would like to see to the agenda?
Just mentioned that I added that information to council regarding our open house that we're looking to do and the fishing tournament, just as some information if you guys have any issues with that. In addition to that, Douglas County did give out their truth and taxation for the border review information. So you guys can review that because we'll have a meeting before our next city council.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda, minutes and reports. I would like to make a change on the March calendar. Planning and zoning is for March 12th, not the 19th. And I didn't see anything else. I would, any other changes I would like to make? Is there anything?
I will mention just on that special meeting on the 24th, I do have Tim present, but I will be removing him. That was a mistake, so that's the only change on that.
That note of correction, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda and paying the bills of $246,855.41.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda with noted changes and approve bills of $246,855.41. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 468 special event Taste of Osakis. Jason, would you mind coming sitting up here, please? Thank you.
So yes, myself and Travis and Dorf are holding the event that day, so I just sent you guys a packet, walking through the daisy, time of the event and stuff like that. Granted, it's very early in the stages, but I just want to at least get the alcohol permit, that stuff going, and we have to fine tune some roads. We could do that, but we blocked off, at least started off with what we blocked off last year. If we could shrink down, we wouldn't go any bigger. And down here, the concert's completely fenced in, but we sell alcohol, and then down at the bull riding where we sell the alcohol, that'll be completely fenced in as well.
Just the council's note for last year, we approved if we were gonna go down to the boat landing and have a sports type of show, and we did not last year. So whether you decide to add something like that or not, I see it's on here now. We did have that initially last year, but we changed it. So, I mean, it looks to be the same.
Yeah, it's the same app I took from Corey.
And pretty much the same programming type of.
Except concerts one night, it's 2 nights. Bull riding will be Friday night, concert Saturday. Then everything will be Saturday, will be members Friday this year. So it should be 90% the same.
And if you make any changes, you'll submit those changes.
Yep, some Angela, if you try to come back, if not, make it work.
I'll make a motion to approve case for Osakis event outlined in a staff report and attached documents.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve Taste of Osakis event that is outlined by the staff report and attached. Applications subject to standard conditions to include insurance and permits. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Project 60-01, the rental ordinance. And we are wondering how to proceed with this. I'm gonna give just a little bit of my thoughts in talking to people. In October, planning and zoning sent it to us, but it was not their idea for us to move forward on this. They were kind of a no. And I'm seeing the same thing. We already have administrative citations in place for the exteriors of buildings. The state has protections for renters that meet or exceed what we're looking at proposing, that the renters have rights through the state of Minnesota. We have not really had any complaints in the last 7 years as far as a rental type situation. And guess I'm looking at what kind of expense would it be to the city for us to move forward with this. Your thoughts?
So how did, it seems like it comes back to our table every so often, I'm just curious. Like, I mean, whatever we decide is fine, but like 6 months from now, are we going to be revisiting it again, or is there something we need to act upon so that it's just clear, like, you know, I don't know,
And I don't think, honestly, do you think that we'll really revisit it if we have no, now, if we get a rash of complaints?
Yeah.
Yes, it's gonna be brought up again.
but planning and zoning didn't want to do anything,
No.
is that correct?
No, I went back and looked at the meeting
Okay.
today.
Yeah, I think the thing maybe that keeps coming up is you have protections for like elderly and you have protections for like children as far as public health gets involved. It's when you get to adults and they live in their conditions, but they don't necessarily complain and they live in them. It isn't, there's nothing wrong with it, but it isn't necessarily meeting standards. But Judy did ask me to do a little research too, and we just looking at the state, the state does look at enforcement if somebody does have a complaint, but typically they look at multiple complaints or things that are maybe more elevated. So if it's just brief things, they're not gonna probably look into it. And maybe that's where we hear these issues that maybe come up sometimes from time to time. And I'm sure the police department probably sees it more than anybody. Whether that means it's a complaint or they just notice that there is conditions maybe that aren't the greatest, but.
As I said, I did have a conversation with Chad too, and as far as Chad hasn't had no complaints within the last several years as far as any type of situation concerning a rental. Other than maybe the people living inside and a law enforcement issue, but not as far as the rental.
And as for planning and zoning side, when we looked at this one came up to us because this is what Steve from Sourcewell provided us. And it was more detailed than the one that we had, but otherwise, all of our ordinances that we currently have covered pretty much everything. So planning and zoning side, we thought we would just stick with those.
It might be worth just making, if you don't feel like you want to make a motion not to do more, move forward with anything unless we receive complaints. That way it's not bringing up again just because somebody thought about it again. It's like we're looking if we have some complaints that come up that we feel there's a need to do this.
I can sure make a motion for that. That at this time, we will not proceed forward with an actual document of an ordinance for rentals. And we will just follow our, ordinances unless something would arise.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to not move forward with a rental ordinance at this time unless multiple complaints arise and need to be discussed at a further time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 201-509.
Do I have this somewhere on, was the EDA minutes in with this rental? The second.
I think it got stuck in between, but the EDA, so the minutes were maybe right in front of the EDA thing, so
I was gonna
it
say,
should have been with the
okay, mine
EDA,
kind of got stuck in
right in
the paper clip, so it's-
Okay, so did mine. So we need a motion to approve that?
yeah, we'll have to approve the minutes of
the EDA.
EDA minutes, yes.
Yes.
And would we like to take care of that first?
I'll make a motion to approve the EDA minutes, from February 23rd. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the EDA meeting, February 23rd, 2026. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The city of Osakis has been awarded a Tier 2 grant through Minnesota Housing. The grant was submitted in the amount of $150 to support the construction of new homes within our city, funding up to $30,000 per home. We have not received the final grant paperwork on that, so Angela is waiting for that. You have not seen that as of today?
No, I have a draft in there, but, I'm meeting with them on Thursday to go through, these items they want ahead of time, and once we have that in place, then they kind of fill in this grant, draft that we have here. You can see there's areas that they have marked out
Yep.
to include, so that's what they would fill in, and then we'd have it ready to sign, so the meeting I had set up with them was on Thursday.
And you're wondering if we could approve moving forward without waiting until the April meeting to, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, now, once we have it, I've sent all the final drafts. If there's anything that's out of the ordinary versus what's in here, I would sure bring it up, but if it's just gonna be filling in the blanks, I don't see it necessary to wait to start the program. But if you guys want to, we sure could do that.
Well, I read through the draft and I didn't see anything unusual. So if we were to approve it stating that, you could move ahead as long as there were no changes in the draft.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
Also move.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the grant application with Minnesota Housing Tier 2 grant for $150,000 when it is finalized, barring any changes to the draft. And then a final draft will be emailed to the council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project number 76, the police department. Mr. Yule has requested to be moved to part-time status, and he is with us this evening. Would you like to share anything with council before we discuss this?
Yes, actually I would.
If you wouldn't mind taking
The hot seat?
the hot seat, yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, I have worked for the city for 23 years and 7 months, I believe that's correct, Angela. I want to thank the council for allowing me to serve the community this long, and I know that I requested to stay on part-time, but due to my new job and the workload that I'm under, I don't find it that would be beneficial to the city at this time. I just don't know if I can give you the time that that you guys would ask of me. So I respectfully bring that back, not request part-time.
We understand completely. We know how your job can be, and we appreciate you coming in this evening and letting us know. And for right now, we will, would we need a motion for that? We don't really need a motion. Do we need?
We didn't accept his resignation, so I think that would just be the final thing. And I think it was the 4th of February, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the last day, so you could just make a motion to that, approve
Okay,
that.
So.
Yeah.
Geez, Randy, don't start. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'll be working with you still.
Yeah, I know. You can't hear me. Thank you, Laura. Stephanie. But no, it's been a pleasure.
I'll second this.
Motion motion has been made and seconded to accept Kelly Yule's resignation from the city dated February 4th. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll make arrangement with Chief O'Brien to turn in all my gear.
Sounds great, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Chief didn't have anything to add to his, the report that he sent in, so he's not present. Is there anything else in the report that you guys would like to discuss?
It was nice to see both of these went up for auction, both of the vehicles. As much as I know you guys love driving the white one.
Yeah, but to go on the auction block on Thursday, I believe it is.
Friday the
Friday.
13th, and it's a live auction, so, and Chad chose to have a dealer only one, so if somebody from the public wants to bid on it, they contact the dealer, or I did put the number of the lady in the ad, and you can contact her and they'll find a dealer for you to bid on. You just tell them what price you wanna pay, and then they bid on it, but there was an option of dealer only or private party, and she had this whole sales pitch of how much you make more money doing a dealer only, that's what he
I was
decided.
gonna say that is different than what we've done in the
Yeah.
past.
And we haven't been through this America's Midwest auction area before, but they are known for selling a lot of police vehicles and that type of thing, that's kind of their market, so.
Nice.
Hopefully we get a good price on them, or let's see how it goes, but it will be on Friday.
The new vehicle, has that been lettered yet?
Yes. Yep, or was there one more thing he had to have? Yeah, I think it's done. Pretty sure it's done.
Yeah.
Project number 24, the liquor store. I am working with Troy on several different things down there. Getting his new systems up and running, finding reports that will be beneficial to us. I don't think that I've seen them yet. And working with him on some promotions to see if we can get the revenues up. I did see that the last month for gambling was a skosh high again. And he and I are discussing that as that goes forward.
Cause I do recall when he was first hired, wasn't he going to create a policy, Angela, about stuff being short?
The
And-
bullpen policy.
I have to say, and that's the one that we've been working on.
Oh,
correct?
okay,
Yeah, he did have a draft
Yeah.
when we met, and he was gonna revamp a few things in there, I haven't seen the second draft.
okay,
But
okay,
we're trying to nail that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
But thanks for asking.
Yeah, and we're gonna be moving forward too. I think that you'll be seeing more policies coming from Angela through the council that we'll be reviewing periodically.
Yeah.
So I know that Troy and I were looking at the what was it? The check cashing policy for the liquor store also, and I thought there
It's
was,
a cash balance.
yeah, cash balance
Those are
policy.
two, I asked him to review what we had in the past and just updated based on if he's doing that, he's not doing that, what he feels would be beneficial to have in grading, so. He's supposed to give me any changes to that, and then we'll bring them to the council.
The only other thing I had written down was the last time he was up here, he gave us an update on the litigation with someone who fell out there. Is there any updates on that?
I could give you a total, but they did, decide to pay the claim. The
Okay,
insurance did think that we were liable
okay,
for it because of the situation of not having lighting, and
okay,
even though we shoveled, the snow didn't melt, we didn't get the snow away from there, so they did pay the claim.
okay.
I could give an update on how much that is, but I know.
Just for next
I haven't
meeting,
seen a
it's fine.
final.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I'll make a note, yep.
I know we had talked about it and then I was just curious how that played out.
Project 205 Public Works, Darren is looking at purchasing a few pieces of equipment. John Deere, 5115M tractor and mower used for ditch mowing, pond mowing, and will be used for lawn spraying. Cause his other one, he can't get parts for. I wonder how old that one is. He has got a price of $47,500 on a new one with a trade-in of the current tractor at $6,500. And then he's also looking at a new lawnmower, price of $16,758.82. Trade-in value of $9,600. He does have money in his capital outlay for these purchases. I did speak to him earlier today too, via text, because it's noted in here too that we could sell these online versus the trade-in. He feels it'd be a much better route to go the trade, that we would do better.
It's less hassle too.
So,
I would say if he's got it budgeted and it can come out of his capital outlay, I don't know. Unless somebody else. Make a motion to approve based on it being a budgetary item, also with it.
Second.
motion has been made and seconded to purchase John Deere 5115M tractor for $47,500, trade-in of $6,500, and the Z970R lawnmower to replace old lawnmower, price of $16,758.82 with a trade-in value of $9,600, as long as it is can be covered by the budgeted capital outlay fund. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And Darren has provided you, Angela, with an updated equipment list now, or he's got it?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
we shared that with designer.
okay,
Give us. an
for
update.
building sizing, before we proceed forward
Yeah.
and looking at the public works stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was a report as far as public works. Is there anything else, that you would like to discuss on public works? Then we will move forward to project 46, water and sewer EDU charge. And it looks like we may have to put this off. Angela has, reached out to our city attorney to determine whether an ordinance amendment would be required to implement this change of EDU charges for vacant commercial and residential property. If we move forward with this, do we need to have a public hearing?
No, we're not
Okay.
required to.
Okay. As of today, Angela had not received, any response from the attorney, so I think we should table this till next month.
Just for clarification, the vacant lots, we're not going to start at this point charging. for that.
This was
That
gonna
would
be
take
any
public hearing.
building that might be on there.
If we got a building on there that could or should or could be banned, then they're getting.
Thank you for updating that. I would entertain a motion to table.
I will make a motion to table.
Motion has been made and seconded to table this till, the April meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 49, Main Street project. Before we do that, we have a couple of bills from WSB. Can we clear those up before we ask Kevin to come and talk to
I'll
us?
make a motion to pay the WSB sanitary sewer of $994 and the Main Street bill of $26,450.25.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve WSB bill for $944 and $26,450.25. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Kevin.
All right. Some fun papers. Wow. Don't worry about reading it. All the legal stuff is in there that you need to worry about. You already have one, you can ditch that
I like
one.
the color on this one better.
Oh gosh, right?
No offense,
Can you see the
actually.
numbers better? Oh, that's a little bit better.
Some slightly, you need that ink as well. Angela and I were discussing today a bit, about the water and sewer service lines, the column second to the far right there. Which would be technically a slight modification from your assessment policy, but we're covering those at 50%, just due to the fact that most of the issues that we're seeing in those areas. So I did knock down some of the assessment rates. There's still a handful of kind of high. To dive into, I guess, this will be kind of up to you guys how we want to handle this. So we have a preliminary assessment that you can kind of see here. That's what's referenced within the feasibility report. We can modify what we would like on the assessment roll before it gets sent out for the public hearing. And we can accept the feasibility report with those revisions to be made. Basically the same, we kept everything except change X, Y, Z. And then that'll keep us on track for being able to host the public hearing in the next couple of weeks so that we can approve plans and still get in April like we're hoping, kind of keeps everything on track that way. Is there anything that jumped out? Did you guys look at these assessment rates at all yet? No, that's perfectly fine. There's a couple of the lots that are obviously split currently that it has a house on one, a garage on another. That would be 11 and 12, 14 and 15, and then 20 and 21. If we combine those all, their assessment rate is very reasonable. It's not that super reasonable for their garage lots currently. The other lots that are a bit high in comparison to like what their property values are is 7. If you guys want to mark them. 7, 18, 25, 27 and 28. 38, 30, sorry, I missed that one. 40, 41, and 42.
Was 38 one?
Yes.
Thank you.
So obviously those big lots, corner lots, are definitely problem children. If you kind of see 2 on 6th Ave, you can kind of see that there's 3 lots on 6th Ave that have neighboring on 6th Ave that have issues, and part of that is because some of that street cost is higher for them because no one actually is off of 6th Ave. So even though you're only charging them half of their front footage, it's really charging still full front footage because everybody's got a side yard. So they're splitting it 4 ways at half of everyone's front footage, which is essentially getting charged full front footage. And I think the same thing is kind of happening over on Fourth Ave there for 40, 41, and 42. They just kind of have a weird spot there too, where it's a decent length of road that there's only, I think 41 is the only one that actually has front footage charged for that road too. So that's kind of one of the very similar spot of longer section of roadway that there's not many people benefiting. Number 7 is a high percentage of that lot cost, but realistically, that lot value currently is basically a vacant lot. It is what the property value of it is. And I don't think you would have a problem even with the property value and the assessment to be very close selling that lot for that value. It would end up being, if you were to get the current estimated market value plus the assessment rate, it would be 38,000, you know, lot cost, which I don't think is too terribly crazy or out of line there. A lot of information, I know, I'm sorry, but
Kevin, I do have a question as I thought about, I know our assessment policy has a front footage and an area thing. Do you know how you apply these? There's different methods in there?
yeah, so the curb and gutter, street, basically everything but the storm sewer is all by front footage. And then the storm sewer is by area.
Area that it serves.
Yeah. Which we basically considered the whole project area in this situation since everything is kind of flowing to the, most of the runoff is staying within the project area or very close to it.
Do you have a recommendation of how, how we talked about,
Looking at it a little bit closer, I think the recommendation that I would have would be either to just continue forward with what your assessment says. The only caveat that I would have with that is if we wanted to, and I don't know exactly how you would do it. It would be a little bit tricky, but if the city would look at eating some more of this 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Avenue costs, just for the fact that some of those, it's a connecting street, but it's really not. It's, all of the cost is being burdened on those 4 lots, even though technically it should be their side yard. When you should be seeing, you know, half of that cost is what those corner lots are supposed to be seeing. But that would be up to you guys if you wanted to look at trying to help remedy a couple of those side lots, but
When you say 50% versus 100, and they're only, when they're assessed and they're getting 50% of the city's covering the other 50%?
yeah. To
How about
start,
side yard?
yeah, but they're covering, they wouldn't usually have the 50% of the 50% because it's a side yard, but they're really getting 100% of it. If that makes sense. Their front footage is really counting as 100 because everyone that's a side yard. So like, we'll use 4th Ave for example here, 41 has front footage, so they're getting, you know, if their front yard is say 100 feet, they're being charged a full 100 feet for that 4th Ave. Where everybody else, it's a side yard, so they would be only getting 50, 50, 50, and 50. So, you know, they're proportionately getting what they should be where everyone else is getting their proportionate shrinking side yard costs of that. makes sense. It's a little bit confusing, but. The corner lots are always very challenging when you're doing front footage because you run into the problem of just having a side yard or a side street fixed up really help improve your property value.
And Angela, you had said when we've had this come up in the past, we've basically sent it out as is and then.
Yeah, there's been a few cases where there's some scenarios, and the ones I can recall were the area assessments, so some of the lots were odd shaped and that, so the area you were at was large, but then the rest was small, and there was an area. There's different methods in there that you could do, and so we applied something different, but it was only a few here and there, there wasn't, they have 7, 8 here, like we have, but the one thing the council needs to keep in mind is we have a policy. We should follow our policy initially, put that out there, and that's what we go with our hearing for. We can gauge how the response is, and if there is some issues, there's always something we can go back to and amend the policy if we'd like, or make some changes based on, like you said, are these side streets serving more than just these properties? Are we having them extended because the water production is better, having it looped, and that, is there a portion of it that the city could bear on that? But you don't wanna make it like, each person doing special, because then each time you're doing the assessments, you're gonna sit there and do all this. You wanna have a kind of a standard policy, and there's gonna be rare cases.
I just don't wanna open up a can of worms that, we've got several projects coming up. I mean, it's not just gonna be this year, there's several projects that
We got 3 more coming up.
MPCA says we have to address, so, as nobody likes to pay the extra assessments, but I don't wanna open up a can of worms and have everyone think that they can come in and get a special discount. I think we need to stick to our policies, they're there for a reason, we didn't make the policy, but they're there for a reason, so.
And all of these numbers are based on our current policy.
And worst case scenario, basically.
Yeah,
And it's all an estimate until we go out for bid, so there are a couple of scenarios, typically, as a city, we've always done an initial assessment hearing of the project, and we give them a number. We always say this is the worst case scenario, because that's their biggest question, well, how much is it gonna cost? That's what matters, if they ask them if it should be done, they probably would say yes, but then how much is it gonna cost? So they wanna know what it is, so there's 2 things you can do. You can go through the initial hearing, you could bid it, and then you can have your final assessment hearing before you actually start the project. Cause then you can gauge if there is a total number or how much you have, or you go through the project and you do the assessment at the end. Then you've already spent the money, there could be some issues with that, but it's kind of 2 scenarios. You're usually having that final assessment hearing before you even do it, so you can gauge any, assessment appeals that they might have, or you can gauge how much is it actually gonna cost when we actually get bids. Otherwise you do it afterwards when you have final numbers.
have you guys historically done a final after the project?
We have.
Which is what I would recommend in this situation, just because there are some, even within the bid, there are some precautions that we do take to some extent. That if we have a beautiful and dry summer, hopefully those rates maybe even go down a little bit further. Maybe it's not much, but hopefully it's something. And then that, you also have a finished product that they're seeing when they're getting their assessment rate or their final assessment hearing, instead of the dream of what could be.
Yeah.
They have something tangible, and usually you hear a little less complaints, but the only tricky part there, I will warn, is sometimes it does make the city have to carry the finances an extra year, depending on when our project gets done. So some cities do get a little bit nervous about that. We can technically have that say we get 90% of the project done, but we're still waiting on the final lift of pavement this fall, we can still have the final assessment hearing this fall. So we can still get them on next year's property taxes, and we just estimate our remaining work and call that good. Otherwise, if you wanna wait until it's truly 100% done, you'd be carrying that financial burden per se for that first year and then collecting that next year.
And as far as we're aware right now, we had this project put on the project priority list, but it's not on the intended use plan. And that means that this year we would not get funding from PFA, and PFA money is basically only for water and sewer expense, and it's usually 1 to 1.5% financing on it for 20 years typically. It can be different, but typically 20 years, so we would not have that financing for this project this year. So then you traditionally go through like the bonding process, and they're looking at between 4 and 4.5% on the bond. Which even if you did get PFA money, you use that, you still have to get a traditional bond for anything with street, storm, curb gutter. You still have to pay for it.
Some of that is in the, within that grant or within the loan application process. Just because to get down to it, we would have to rip it open, but.
Yes.
So we would be able to capitalize a little bit on the streets, but not 6th Ave, we couldn't use it for, obviously, because there's no sanitary sewer. But
Well, I like the idea of moving it forward and
Yeah,
then.
perfect.
Yep.
I mean.
So at what point, I've heard of this and I can't remember if specifically. So sometimes your lots are so big that you actually add an extra stuff in case they divide it. It's like divide later. When does that come into play?
It's an excellent.
So these other ones, we're gonna try to get them combined so they get a better rate, but I mean, it's kind of, there's both sides of it.
Well, and so some of those, the lots that are currently split, like those garage lots that we're kind of discussing there, a lot of them, even if they combined, the only portion of these numbers that would actually drop off is if we're running a lateral and service line to their properties. So it'd be that 1,500 and up to 3,000 or 3,700. Not that that's a small number by any means, but that's the number that we'd be looking at, would be a reduction in that. So like 14, for instance, right now we have a sanitary and water stub out towards their garage. That's there on lot 14. So if they wanted to reduce, if they wanted to combine those, we would then not run a sanitary and water stub to it, and that would reduce their assessment by that $3,700 roughly.
And that rate is at 50% rate,
Correct.
where our policy does say 100, so.
Yeah. That is the
We're
only
gonna
thing.
stick with that policy, yeah.
But to Randy's point, let's say down,
38 here, that looks like a pretty good size lot. I guess I don't remember scale wise.
Yeah, you could, I mean, for instance, like 3 is a pretty big lot, 4 and 5 and 6 are like a standard ish lot, maybe a little bit narrow, but yeah, you could easily split that and add an additional lot. We currently are not stubbing anything out in addition for them, but if they wanted to come to the council meeting and request, we're looking at potentially splitting this to help offset our costs. We could definitely look at stubbing something out. Their replace sewer or replace water/sewer service line cost would just that increase.
I guess I'd just like to hear Darren chime in on if there's any lots he feels we should have an extra stub, so we don't cut into a brand new street. I mean, I know they had to do it next to me,
Yeah,
living at my last place, 2 places to go with it.
So we did ask him, so that's on lot 12 and 14. We are showing to stub in to those two, those are currently split. But he didn't really reference, they're really the only lot that's splittable, if that's a word, would be 38 is really the only easy lot to split. 30, maybe you could, but they'd be splitting off a garage or something else that's kind of an inconvenience.
Randy, kind of to your comment, we've never had any hypothetical where we say, well, your lot's big enough, we're gonna just stub it in. Unfortunately, they own it. Potentially, we look at it as that's all they're ever gonna do. If they later on say we're splitting it and they dig in, I don't know if there's much we can say.
Which is what happened in my first
Yeah.
place I lived here. So then what was the deal with Walter Storrs then? He had 2 lots and he left it at 2 lots? Cause you got charged extra. That was pretty,
Yeah.
before you were, you knew that, okay.
I think he wanted to reduce it, but then he wasn't willing to confine it. Well, then you have 2 lots, so eventually you want to sell it, right?
This piece I didn't remember, okay.
Yeah.
And I just see it's across the street, and it's still one big lot. Just wanna make sure we're doing it the same way, okay, alright. That's all I have.
One question I did have on like the garage lots past practice, do you guys actually require them to like fully connect them? Or would you just require them saying, we're never going to sell that lot to be built on? And please remove those services.
We would require them to go through a process of combining them
Okay.
on their taxes, so there's a form they fill out here that I sign off on, so they would say, I wanna combine them into one lot. Because if they ever wanna split it, they have to come back and actually split it to do it.
Right.
And then we're like, well, you didn't. Whole scenario was you weren't gonna have this, so we'd probably look at it differently if they came back later and wanted
So it's
to
a
do the opposite.
fairly easy process.
It is, yeah. The only thing, it doesn't cost them anything, the only thing they have to do is have their taxes paid in order to combine or split a lot.
Okay.
So usually year end.
Every county is very different, so some counties require you to hire a surveyor and go through a plating process.
No, we don't.
So that's.
It's an easy,
It's easy enough that they could request that, and then they would just see, and I'd say too, if 38 comes in and says, what's the potential of being able to split this? It would be a fairly easy add of another water service or another sewer service to their property. Otherwise, the motion that I would be looking for tonight would be to accept the feasibility report in order of. Which of the date, do you wanna set that tonight, do you wanna set that?
either way, we do have to put it in the paper
Yeah.
at least 2 weeks. It has to have a notice mailed to them at least 10 days before, so there's certain requirements on when we can have this meeting. I was looking at very earliest was the end of March, otherwise beginning of April, which would be right before Easter, unless you do it right after Easter. Then we're getting in April already, so if we say we do it and then we wanna move forward, we'd have to probably make a motion that night to move forward with the project just so that they can bid it. Get that rolling, so it does make it a tight timeframe.
I'll make a motion to accept the feasibility study and what she said. Public hearing.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept feasibility study and move ahead with the public hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Perfect. Angela and I will work on setting a date for that. Any other questions on this project specifically before I go back to my seat?
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else we need to do? Yep.
Pay the bills.
So we will move forward with, the park board, project 441. Minutes are attached, so I would entertain a motion to accept the minute.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve park committee meeting minutes from February 5th, 2026. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The park board is, looking to the council for approval to apply for a phase 2, DNR grant. Although Angela checked with the DNR regarding the phase 2 grant application, and they indicated that additional grant funds would not be approved until initial grant funds have been substantially used. So we will be holding off on applying for any further grants for phase 2 at this time. And I don't believe that there was anything else from,
And just to like reiterate, I did do this background thing a little bit, but maybe it's a little confusing. We asked for you guys to approve bidding for it so that we can get it started. So that's what we did, and it did get bid out. So it is in bidding process now, and the date that bidding's supposed to be open is March 24th. So I just want to be clear, because there's kind of information there saying what we did, but it sounds like it's present tense, so just want to make sure.
and we haven't gotten the final grant paperwork on this yet either, have we? We're still waiting for the DNR to
Yes, and I did contact the gal, and she was out until this Wednesday, so I was hoping to get an okay or some answer from them, because what they were told is we could bid it as long as we weren't having a contract, which we're hoping to open it March 24th, they go through bids, and then April is when you approve it, so we're hoping by then we're gonna have this agreement. Way too long, since September, maybe. So, yes.
Is there anyone else who has any questions about the park? Board, information Angela has here?
Our next meeting will be the 31st instead, just because we want to review those bids after they open.
Project 312 beautification team. I know that they had an excellent turnout at the decades party, which was great to hear. And I know Amber's working on some additional bids for the Outlook, and she'll provide those when available. Is there anything else that?
No, I was just
Okay.
looking at my phone and I didn't hear from her, so nothing else to report. I know she's out of town.
Project 261 water problem. Angela has received 3 replies from owners on Central Avenue. Just wanting to get your feeling what we should, if we should move ahead and have a meeting with the people that have responded back to her, or if we wait for another month to see if anybody else responds.
I'm a little leery of, like, if only 3 people have responded, I feel like. Are we gonna, why are we spending the time,
Right.
taking time out of our meeting to chase people down and it's not really our property? I get it, like, it's a pain for Danielson's that brought it up, I totally get that. But for us to keep chasing property owners to see if they want us to do something, I think that's a waste of resources,
And-
honestly.
And you have sent out 2 letters.
Right, yeah.
And I
And
will,
we've still only heard from 3,
Yes.
so not even half of them.
So evidently they don't have the issue.
That's what I would question is,
Chasing a problem that
yeah,
evidently isn't as important as some think.
you know, unless we would hear from them, I would motion to remove this from our future agenda based on non-responsiveness.
I agree.
I agree.
So you're seconding that
I'm
motion?
second.
Motion has been made and seconded to remove this from our agenda due to non-responsive from the letter sent out. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I did bring
We're
this
already
up
done.
It's already
initially.
done to me.
Um, I can reach out to Brian if you
Reach
want.
out to him,
Yeah,
And see what,
I'll let him know.
Which is fine, because I said I wasn't gonna be here, but then I was able to get Corey to cover some hours, so I didn't have as much overtime, so. The only major thing that I wanted to get in your guys' hands was the final copy of the policy for the pull tabs and E-tabs.
There you go, we were just
And-
talking about that.
The only thing I'd ask for, I don't ask you, you don't have to necessarily vote on it tonight, but just a motion so that, with final approval from the mayor and Angela and me, after you guys, give you copies, you can all look at it and read what's in there. With them giving final approval and the okay of verbiage and what is in everything, that we'd be able to just move forward to get employees to sign it, is where I'd be at on that. Essentially what this is this was a request from Nelson Gaming Association. Part of it is to explain if they're gonna put the money up to get us one of the machines, what's gonna happen on shortages. He wanted something in documentation so they wouldn't be responsible, which is understandable, they're not responsible now. But with that tracking system, we wanted to make sure that it was there. I did a little bit more research on it, also talked to more people that have it. Even the little bit of time that it's gonna slow down on us putting tickets in, which it will, to be able to break down on a shift. Because now when something happens in a box, it's after we close it, which can be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 30 days after the fact, and everybody's been in it. So who made the mistake? So this will actually break down on every shift. It's assigned to, you gotta log in on your shift, you gotta log out with your shift. All the money from all the boxes and E-tabs are in one drawer. So the mixing up of money in boxes, that won't be an issue anymore. You actually have to select the game, the tickets that you're dealing from. So tracking to make sure tickets are going in the right boxes, coming out of the right boxes. It should fix a lot of those issues. So that'll be one more thing on there. And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on too, just, I know we discussed it, but just to kind of a conversation that I had with the mayor and Tim was when we see a shortage like on the February for pull tabs, we're 208 short. Well, the box I closed on March 6th had 160 and the E-tab drawer was over 40 after, so we were literally short $8. Now, if I put that money into the next deposit, we don't see it. Because it just goes to the gaming, we might see to be completely honest, if we're over, I don't even know that we see the 20% of that money. So we have, if something like that happens, we use it to correct future boxes, which can get us to a 0 another month or lower another month to make things average up over the course of the year. The other scenario too is I had a conversation because we just had the gaming, Minnesota Gaming Board out there and walked through gaming and liquor and tobacco and walked through everything, and I chatted with him too, and I was just talking about it. Well, what are you seeing on shortages from other bars, other municipals that you know of? We're the only one that falls in that really in this area. Nobody else has pull tabs because they don't have a bar right in Todd County. So, but what he had said too is he goes, it can go the other way also. So right now when we're operating under that 10% to 7% loss for the year, which was the last numbers that I did, if we were all zeros, we'd also get audited because nobody's ever all zeros. Because there's usually, you're gonna have a tab in the month where you're gonna lose a pull tab or do whatever. But he did also confirm that bars that were having issues, the accuracy comes a lot better once you get the POS in. So we finally got around there what they need to have for us to have it. The other complaint was, well, we're gonna lose a little bit of money because you're not gonna sell as many pull tabs. Well, I think we would take the accuracy over a few for, a couple $100 a month. So those are the main things that I had to get you guys, unless you have anything else for me.
we'll have to read over this, and so we'll have to look at that for next month.
Okay. That's fine. Other than that,
Somebody,
You had lots of good stuff.
I'm not.
I don't expect you to read it right now, that's perfectly fine,
Yeah.
that's not a problem. I know we had me and Tim and Angela and everybody had proofread it and gone over it, so I just, with you guys, I didn't know if that was something you wanted to do, so yeah, barring any changes that they would disagree with, then it would be approved, but we can wait until next month, that's fine too. Then I just gotta wait to get the POS until next month, I'll let him know so he can
Well, so-
prep on that.
You and Tim have both read through this, okay.
Well, I didn't give you my comments, but I didn't get a final.
I just adjusted, she had some the mayor had some corrections, and then you had some corrections that I think I made, and if we missed any of that, like I said, we can do one more perusal for that. I am perfectly okay with waiting to approve it until next month too, that way I can get.
I misunderstood, that was my fault, if you guys have read it and your eyes were on it as the liaisons, I don't have a problem with,
Yeah.
And I'm, like I said, I'm fine with that too, because it's probably gonna take you 3 or 4 weeks to get the money together and to get the machine and then have it set up, so that would be fine, if I could give them a countdown that way and say, hey, this is probably getting approved in a couple weeks for next month's. So however you wanna handle that, that's perfectly fine by me.
Yeah, I went through it and noted a couple things to try.
Yep.
And it's pretty involved, I mean,
I basically took all the stuff that the state has, they have some recommendations, I pulled their recommendations, I put that together with stuff, and then I just added, like, one of the main things I added because it was an issue with previous bartenders is no selling to wives, husbands, or children. Because we did have situations where bartenders were calling their family in to come play a box that people have been playing. And this looks, it's not against state rules, but we can have according to what I talked to the state, we can have our own internal policy. And I think that just looks really bad when you have customers that are coming in, spending their money, and then all of a sudden you see a family member of one of the bartenders come in and play that same box that they literally $300 or $400 and pull it out of it. It just doesn't look right, so. That's why that is in there. I'm not worried that would happen with the new bar staff, but I just want that to make sure that that's something moving forward that we personally take on, is we're not gonna do it at our store. And we don't currently let our employees gamble anyways, so that won't be changing either.
Well, I'm fine if you and Tim and Angela read through this pending any major changes. I guess I don't have a problem approving it then. I'll make that motion.
I was like, what?
motion has been made and seconded to approve, full tab and E-tab gambling policy for the municipal liquor store. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Barring any major changes that council members see.
Yes, if you do, somebody sees something.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I have got feelers back out for changes on cost for the parking lot. I wanna get rebids just to make sure that where we need to be on that, and they're gonna know that some of the step fixing was not on the original concrete bid, so I wanna get those adjusted, then hopefully I can have that prepped for Angela next month, so that can be a conversation piece for the next meeting.
All right. And if you guys see any glaring things on there, just email Angela. And
That'd be great.
we'll take care of it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
You good?
Project number 7, the community center. We had several applications for the janitorial position over at the community center. Randy, Angela and I have met and narrowed it down to 2 possible candidates, and we will be having an interview on this coming Thursday. We are looking to the rest of the council to give us direction. If we feel good about the candidates on Thursday, can we go ahead and hire somebody? Without waiting till the next meeting or having a special meeting?
For sure. That'd be great. I'd say use your discretion to move forward with it.
Yeah, because the poor community center needs a really good. All right, and we will update the council at the next meeting. Project number 43, Board of Review. We've received information from Douglas County and we've got our time set. Laura and I will be here. We're both trained and
I think she'll be here as well.
And Stephanie has now said that she can be here, Tuesday the 7th for that, those meetings. So we should be good to go with quorum. Project number 42, cleanup day. City Hall office staff will coordinate an annual cleanup day event. Excuse me. Or has coordinated an annual cleanup day event each spring with city residents. Last year, the Lakes Area Association joined or participated in that with us also. Funds collected minus any event expenses are allocated towards the 4th of July fireworks. The event has been successful and continues to see strong participation each year. I think it's a wonderful thing. Right now, cleanup day is scheduled for May 16th from 9 to 11. Hope Douglas Incinerator will have its hazardous waste trailer on site. And are we willing to let the Osakis Lakes Area Association participate in the event again this year?
So last year, they had someone there. Will they provide someone again to, okay, I think great, might as well. I don't think it was an influx by any means that we couldn't handle.
We hope that this year is nicer than last year.
Yes.
So it was last year fewer than 10.
There wasn't many
Yeah.
members.
Maybe there'll be more this year, but they do provide volunteers too. So.
Yeah, and it wasn't, they were at the entrance, so they were there kind of making sure they were members, and then they also gave a list of all our addresses, so they can make sure they're part of the city and we didn't have to meet them. So it was helpful that way too.
Very nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
it worked well.
It was a cold, rainy day. If we're okay to let the OLA participate, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Osakis.
Second.
We're gonna add more whole thing, but okay.
Motion has been made and seconded to allow Osakis Lakes Area Association to participate in the 2026 cleanup day event. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then Angela's asking what we want to do for pricing this year. What is, I can't remember what the price is.
No, I didn't include a flyer.
I was gonna say, we raised it just a little bit last year, didn't we?
Yeah, so they have each pickup load or pickup box load is considered their yard, and there was $25. You have a big trailer, then maybe it'd be $50, and then they pay for appliances, so you just have a set fee. If people wanna donate more, they sure can, and then the other things like the tires, TVs, microwaves, those type of things they pay extra for. Metal they don't pay extra for, or just normal household, it's just that $25. So we had talked to them, West Central felt like they were fine with amounts and prices to charge, and didn't feel like we should change anything, so I just wanna know because we could get all our flyers and kind of start promoting it, otherwise it'd be April, but I did not include a flyer. I sure could share that with you guys too, and so you could see it.
I think we'd be okay to just leave it the same as.
I'll make a motion to approve the prices to stay the same as last year.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the prices stay the same as the 2025 pricing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 387 crosswalks. I know I brought it up last fall about the need to try and do something with crosswalks. And I know that Cal had gotten us price for the etching type crosswalks, which was a lot of money. Do we want to go that route and see if we can get some of our organizations to help us with those costs? Or do we wanna go and start a cheap route with the little crosswalk signs? Which were $100 a piece.
The stand-up signs.
What if we tried like one intersection to see?
I'll be honest, the one by the school, that one's pretty beat up. It does, it looks super beat up. I feel like they get a new one and then by like halfway through the season, I don't know what happens to it. I don't feel like people hit it, but it is run through the ringer. But maybe it's something we try more on a busy road to see versus.
I was gonna say, now, and in response to Laura's, you know, what if we tried right down here, the main intersection, the etching? And then for that end of town and this end of town, get just the crosswalk signs. You know, we'd be looking at what, $800, $900, depending on what the cost is now, but I certainly could have Chad reach out to Douglas County and see if he can get that set up for this, see if it helps. I myself at night think the lighting down here is horrible.
Well, I'll be honest, today I came from Alec and I slowed down because there's a gentleman crossing at AJ's and the guy behind me pulled over next to me because he was gonna turn. I'm like, please do not hit this guy. As the guy's walking across the road, it's just, oof, such a hurry.
I know everybody's in a hurry. But I think we need to try something,
But I do like that. I think it would be very nice because this is definitely a very well-traveled intersection right here. And then we see how it goes.
yeah,
Because what did they say? Does it last about 3 years?
3 to 4 years depending.
Okay.
Do you know what kind of etching they're doing?
What they do is they etch it out, so it's a deeper inset. I mean, I don't think
They
it,
kind of grind away the
Yeah.
concrete a little bit to make it, then you paint it so it's not, that paint
Oh,
will
those
wear
are
off so
concrete
fast.
right now?
Kind of like
On
how they
this
did
one,
in
it'll be
Alec.
concrete on the highway and then the other side of, I don't know how far an intersection goes, I guess, to see. If it's concrete on those sides, but the main road is concrete. The sides might be asphalt. But then you paint that and it's supposed to stay in there because it's more.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
and it's wider, I mean, it's, you know, when you have the crosswalk, this will be painted like all the way across in like just little strips. But at least it may be more visible.
Yeah, I was just curious, because they do make a product that you can push into like asphalt that still gives you like the bumps and the appearance, so it lasts a lot longer. It like looks like brick or whatever else too, so I was just curious what they were actually proposing as far as cost goes.
I think we should try this on one. We've spent $650 in far worse ways than this.
Would you be opposed to getting a couple of the crosswalk signs then for,
I think that's a good idea.
would someone like to entertain that
I
motion?
will make a motion to move forward with a crosswalk. The proposed rate last time of $630 is if it's within that ballpark range and adding 2 more signs.
Motion, I need.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to move forward with the etched in crosswalk at Central and 82 and 2 crosswalk signs for the east and west ends of town, all as long as the etched in crosswalk is in the 630-ish mark. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I will get a hold of Chad and have him reach out on that.
And just for clarification, you're looking to have it go on the highway or all 4? Or just like across the.
Say.
I would just say highway.
Yeah, cause the bump out makes it pretty short, yeah.
Project 260, council information, live streaming and packets online. We discussed that we were going to give live streaming a shot for 1 year. There has been some feedback from the community that it is difficult to hear us at times. And what we would like to do, I personally, as long as it's not costing us anything, I think that we should continue live streaming. And as far as the cover sheets online, can you tell how many people actually look at the agenda?
No. It's just a PDF on there, it's not an active document. I can see how many people watch this or are on it right now, but
Yeah,
I can't see that.
So how many people are watching the meeting?
Right now, it's been between 3 and 4, I'm at 4 right now. Usually it's 1 or 2,
Okay,
typically, but I did have my stats in there, right?
yeah, I didn't see it.
Just like how many people typically view, I usually write it down in my sheets just to kind of watch, and then how many, you can go back and look at how many people watched it, how long, the duration of the time that they did watch it for, so, there's some months that are a little bit more or less, but there was an average there that I had, and 17 minutes was the average meeting length, of whether they went and found what they wanted to find and they watched it, or they watched for a while and thought they had other things better to do.
So, but we also can watch it the next day, we don't know who
Yes.
does that.
That's part
Yes.
of what this is, it
Yes.
says, and on average, 36 people viewed that, like,
Oh,
so I can
live?
go in and look at what's live right now are 4 people.
Okay.
And then I can go into my stats, and I can show you afterwards if you wanted to. I look at every meeting, I can see how many people have watched it, and then how the average length of time that they've watched it for.
Okay.
So that's where this is, 36 is the average amount of views for the whole year, averaging each month, and then the average of 17 minutes for all the meetings. Average, they went for 17 minutes, so one meeting might have been 20, one might have been 10, it's averaging.
but as far as, at this point, there's no cost for us to do this.
For the microphone, but you can have one sitting in the middle, that would help, or see them where they tangle.
Yeah, we could have them close
Set up
to, right
one for
now, I
each one.
select the one on here, there's a camera and audio on here, so I can select it on there. And that's what's picking up, I do it one on my laptop, but I select that one because it's more facing you guys, but it's not there if you're talking a little bit quieter, they might not hear you, or if Judy's talking at the same time, it doesn't pick up, and I've actually asked it to like generate minutes off of it too, because you can do that, and it won't catch everything, because it doesn't hear it all.
I hear it saying we each can learn from one, that's how I read it. We could have just had one in the middle too, right?
We could try
That
that.
would improve it.
Yeah, and there's a mic thing on here, so I could investigate that, and maybe it's just hooking it up and just setting it up there and putting it away.
Sure.
What it would take, I'm not sure, I'm sure not, it's too expensive.
I'm fine with how it's going on, I mean,
And
people had
yes.
asked for it and we're trying to, it's not gonna be perfect, but if they can see the majority of it and get the basic information, then,
And like, say, I've gone back and listened to meetings, I'll read the minutes, and I was like, no, that's not what happened. I've gone back to the meeting.
Yeah.
And say, oh, no, it's right.
I think we should continue for another year with a microphone, single microphone. So,
Motion has been made and seconded to continue live stream for 1 more year and check on microphone on council table. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 321, Visitor Center. Angela supplied us with some information about the usage or visitors to the Visitor Center in 2025. And organizations that have donated to cover the cost of part-time help. I think we should discuss how the council wishes to operate the visitor center this year.
I think I had asked on wages and I think you sent me, was it 15 and 13?
$13.50.
13.50? Okay.
And I have not asked any of these people if they are coming back or not. I'm just looking for some input, because when they asked, they said, what am I gonna pay? Well, guess I have to go ask the council. So just like, no, and it could be 50 cents if you guys are okay. I just feel like if they return, they maybe are do a little bit of something, to do that.
Is it worthwhile for us to have it or to hire somebody?
Well, last year, being we did our budget cuts, we actually cut any of the funds that we were gonna put towards the wages. There are some expense to having the center in the first place that the city pays, but my budget item is $6,000, and that's what I have as receiving funds for. So we're not taking any money out of our general operating for that. So like last year, I put in there, we asked all of them for funds, and then the EDA out of the lodging tax paid the difference. So didn't cost us anything, but I did have the stats on, what they all do, and, you can see it's not super busy. And, since we put in the bathroom, that was always the biggest thing, to get somebody in there. Now they can use it at any time. I've often thought, well, what if we just did limited times, but I don't know. There's never a good day that says, yep, it's always Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's always different days that people come in. But we could say, Sundays haven't been busy. Sometimes Mondays are, but then the end of the week is busier with them. Saturdays, you think it'd be busy, but then I think people want to be at the lake doing things like that. They're not necessarily in town.
I was gonna say, in my personal feeling is the little bit you see happening at the visitor center, I would much rather ask some of our organizations for money for the beach and push the beach more and have lifeguards at the beach, and be able to take care of them, versus.
Well, clearly it's busier.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're putting our dollars to where our customers, so to speak, are
Yeah.
using our facilities, definitely.
My challenge at the beach has always been lifeguards. Trying to get some lifeguards, it's like pulling teeth. I tell my own kids, just be a lifeguard. Well, they don't even want to do it. It's like, come on, you just gotta sit at the beach. Yeah, you gotta break up some stuff, but they still are like, like, it's not that bad a gig. So usually it's just hard to get some people. Last year we did have 3, which they did fine. We did have a meeting at the beginning and kind of laid down what we expect, and we were checking on them, and there's things that we had to correct, but they did really good. We try to tell their friends, tell them to come, but it's just, it used to be a thing. It's not so much a thing anymore, especially at a beach. But that's our biggest challenge there, is finding somebody to work.
And if we can't, have we done it in the past, swim at your own risk?
Yeah, then we just put up the sign.
Yep.
Usually they don't have the slide running then,
Right.
but that's the only thing. We could still go out there and utilize it. Yeah.
And now that they purchased a lily pad, then that wouldn't go in
Right.
and out either.
Yeah. There's certain things they have to be present for.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you not do the diving platform 1 year too when we didn't have it, or was I remember wrong?
It was something else. It was, I
It
think,
was a smaller
shallow.
platform that we didn't have.
They used to have that big slide, remember?
Oh, that's what.
We kind of got rid of that because that was, those metal slides weren't necessarily so safe anymore. But the diving platform, I think we put out, and we've had to push them out sometimes depending on the weather. But usually we've had that, and that's allowed to have, as long as we have the sign that says swim at your own risk. I mean, lifeguards are on duty.
As far as the visitor center, do we wanna say whatever we get donations for? Or are we just gonna say we're gonna have it open this year? See how it goes.
I know the Heritage Center is not like that.
I would say Randy can speak for them, they attend some of their meetings, they like to have it
They're
open.
a little frustrated already, yeah.
Would they consider possibly manning it?
Yeah.
Potentially volunteering
I would
and
say
just,
Angela's tried that when we haven't had anybody on staff.
sure.
And
We get a few days that they cover, but
Yeah.
it's not a majority of the time.
Well, even if it would just be a couple of the busy weekends, like Taste of Osakis weekend, opener weekend, something like that, where it's busy weekend. Would be nice.
And here too, if you're gonna look at having the visitor center open, I know the Heritage Center may not be very happy with it, but let's do it on the or prior to the holiday weekends, prior to opening fishing, prior to Memorial Day. Couple days before 4th of July, or the week before 4th of July, depending on what day it falls on. Before Labor Day. And it's only, what would that be, probably 6 weeks. But that may serve us better than having somebody there 2 or 3 or 4 days a week. On an average too, how many hours do they work?
They were, 10 to 2 or 10 to 3 most days. On Sundays it was 11 to 2, and then it got to be where there wasn't anybody, and I told them not to be open on Sundays. So there's some days, if you go through it, you're gonna see nobody was even in there, but, so it's 10 to 2. I kinda asked for some feedback if people are coming in then, it just didn't really matter. It didn't seem like, if they stayed open until 4, they're gonna get more people. It just was sporadic.
I guess a lot of people that come to town have probably been here, how many years this thing?
But they're going online to get the information.
Yeah.
But I get it, with the heritage part of it, they are wanting to go
Yeah.
in and see the unique things that they have in there. I get that, that's all. You're looking for some guidance, but we don't really have any.
Yeah, it's
And I don't necessarily need to decide this month, I wanted to have it as a, heads up, because I can request funds from the gambling groups, but if I do it in April, it'd be probably just fine too for this. I do know as far as the lodging tax funds, there's certain requirements you have to use them on, and they have to be for promoting your city, and that, like, lifeguard would not be a qualified thing, where this actually would be something that you could use it for, just for your notes and stuff. I guess if I had to give my 2 cents, I would say, you know what, we'll open it for what donations we get for, and if it's only $1,000, it's, open Thursday to Saturday, and that's, we'll just do that, or the busier times, the weeks before that, and that's it, and that's what we would do.
Yeah,
Cause that's just my thought. But you can think about it till April too, if you like.
And you normally don't start until right before Labor, you're right before.
Memorial Day, yeah, usually, Sharon or somebody would go on to Silver Fishing Opener themselves, but Memorial Day is the only time we've started having somebody in there.
That wasn't overly busy either.
No, it wasn't.
I should table this until next month and give it a little bit more thought than.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to table, project 321 Visitor Center until April, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Project 213 beach lifeguards. This was a very interesting, graph that we put in there. Nice to see that we had that many people using the beach area. That was proud. So excellent to see that. And I think we should go ahead and already get started on looking for lifeguards, because I'm sure hopefully it'll be in early spring. So, begin advertising for lifeguards and see if we can find somebody. And, you're looking at an increase. My personal 2 cents is if they are returning, I wouldn't mind seeing $1 an hour. If they are new, I would start them at last year's wages.
And which is the 15,
16 and 17.
yeah, head lifeguard gets
Yep.
paid a little more, and they're responsible for some.
I'm good with that.
Do you
That's
guys-
what I currently have, so it'd be $1 more if we did that.
Do you guys offer a training course if there's people interested? Or-
Yep, and we'll pay for it as long as they work for us.
Okay.
Oh, beneficial that Jason came to this meeting.
See?
You know some kids, right?
I have a few kids are interested, so I didn't know if they had to have it already. Or-
No,
I thought it was
we
for you.
will.
You're gonna be the lifeguard?
Who, me? I'll be on the pontoon outside the road watching.
You got some kids maybe that wanna do
Yes, I
it.
know I do, that's
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the returning staff an additional $1 an hour raise, otherwise starting at the standard rate for new hires.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded to, increase $1 per hour raise for returning employees and any new hires at the 2025 rate. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Do we want to be open on a part-time basis on the busy days of the week, or how do we want, what was last year, what were we doing for, hours last year?
We're looking at lifeguards still.
Yeah.
So, last year we were open, making me think. We changed the hours.
Yes, wasn't it 2 to 7 or 3 to 7?
Yeah, so like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was like 2 to 7, and then the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, we did the 11 to 7, so we had a longer shift during where we had the busier times when we kept track, and then the beginning of the weeks, we did not. And it seemed to work well, I mean, you just put up the sign and there wasn't a lot of use on the days that they came there, wasn't like people were already there, so. I think it'd be wise to just do that again.
Yep, I think that's.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Same hours, I'll just put.
yep. Project 69, information to the council. Our open house is scheduled for April 7th. Anybody you see, just make sure that they know, and we will start getting some information out there. Angela has provided a list of things that they have, that her staff has been getting ready for us. Is there anything else that the council would like to have available to them?
You gave us that sheet the other day about more generalized donations a few meetings ago. Could we just blow that up and say, just
I
would
will,
like to
yeah.
promote the fact that we have a very caring community. Some of it was donations from some of our fundraiser or like gambling fund people, but there's, you had other stuff in there as well, broader than just the Park Osakis.
Yep, I can make sure all those.
I thought it was good information if we could just.
Yep.
Present it well enough so people can understand it, that would be a good thing to bring out.
And I was gonna say, if you think of anything else in between now and the end of March, just email Angela. And I'm sure that, Isla and Lynette can help get that stuff together for us.
Will we have our auditor's budget review back by then or not?
They'll probably present it in April.
Oh, okay, so,
I may have a draft by then, I'm not sure.
but it wouldn't be anything we need to see yet, so, okay.
One thing I did wanna mention on the housing and business incentives, we were gonna do a thing that had the housing program we have, this that, how much we've had, how much usage, how much we've given out, just like a total. And then also the business one, the storefront one, how long, so we're going back maybe 5-6 years. How much we spend, how many people we helped. And then also having that new program that we have for the $30,000, putting that out there that we have it, and then I just wanna mention something about our new development and the grant that we got for that, and just having those 4 things on a little thing so they can see some things we're looking to do in the
Yep.
future. If there's anything else you guys think of that you wanna see or that we didn't mention here, sure, let me know, we'll just make sure it's available.
Too early to talk about the future development and all that grant that we got. It might raise more questions than we're ready to answer.
Well, and yeah. That was one of my questions, is I can put that we got $450,000 for the development, I could put a picture of what our draft is, or not put it on there, because I'm not for sure on what that's gonna be.
I'm on the fence, I guess.
I could bring it up at EDA, because that'll be before our meeting, because they're one, and see if they feel like they would like to have it out there. So at some point, we have to decide, are we gonna move forward and put it out there, or are we gonna wait till what point, right?
Right, and the public hearing isn't that far away, probably.
The only other thing I would suggest is maybe if we can at some point on a table, just have a comment card if people wanna make something anonymously, cause sometimes they wanna come and they see something, but they maybe don't want to actually talk to somebody about it, but they wanna make it aware. So if we could just have some sort of comment card.
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you.
And do we put out the proposed public city garage?
Yeah.
Wait till we're ready at a public hearing, I don't know. Just an
I
idea.
honestly don't think it hurts to just have it out there, I mean, you're thinking about it, whether it's that design or something similar,
Do
it's.
we have any pictures of the rain coming in that we could kind of put above it?
Well, I
Maybe
have some
we could-
pictures of the condition of it, cause when we did our walkthroughs, there's some of that.
I just
They
think
could
we,
possibly have some of that stuff,
I-
yeah.
it's a way to get the city information, what we're thinking.
Maybe if
That's
we
my
have a
feeling.
little list of like potential upcoming projects, like the big projects like that, development. Even if we aren't ready to give out all the dollars and cents, at least they could see, oh, these things are in the works, so it's
Yep.
not, so- like you're saying, just giving the information we do have out there.
Or even like putting up the star with details to come, something like that.
And do we have this one just approved tonight?
Main Street.
Again, everything would be
Well,
awesome.
probably by the time
Questions, but-
we do it, we probably will have our public hearing close to that time, probably, so you might be comments already, so we might as well put it out there, yeah.
Sure.
We just, that way we have something for them to come and look at, so.
Right.
Sit down and talk with the mayor, it's always a good reason, but.
Yeah.
Utilize those comment cards.
Yeah. A lot of those. I think this will be really nice. Hopefully we have a really nice turnout.
Because it's been talked about for years.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
Will it be large enough to have in here?
Yeah, that will be, just like who knows this first time?
Okay, I'm just thinking because I know when they talked about like the park project, I know we had that at the community center and there was like easel after easel after easel where you could kind of cluster together and talk with someone, cluster together at the next place and talk. I don't know. I'm excited.
I plan on
And if we
having
have
like
them-
these easels out, like in the hallway, and then maybe in some here, so I can move this table, I can walk along and see it and
Perfect.
visit if they want, or leave if they don't wanna say anything, grab a cookie and that's all,
Okay.
whatever.
Perfect. And it'll, once you get it in here and see what it looks like too, will depend as well. I mean, if they're sitting on top of each other.
Well, we won't have all these chairs sitting there.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
I was gonna say, and if we have a really good turnout, I'm hoping that it will carry forward into the next year, that maybe we can move
Right.
to the
Perfect.
future. But yeah, we gotta
Start somewhere.
We gotta
Yeah.
start somewhere.
Otherwise, you
And
just
I
talk
was,
about it,
and
doesn't it?
I wasn't gonna kick that can down the road for you. Let's do it.
Yep.
And you did.
And if there's anything else that comes up, just throw it at Angela and she'll take care of that for us. Project 462 fishing tournament. John Wicks from North Country Base Tournament will be having a bass tournament on August 21st, 2nd, 3rd, 21st to 22nd, or 22nd to 23rd, and wants to use the park beside the public landing. He wants to know if the council would have any issue with having this event and using the park by the public landing for weigh-ins. I have no issue. Do we want him to fill out an event form?
In the past, I've never had them fill out for the tournaments, cause all they're doing is just weighing down there, but in the future, they're using a landing mostly, and then they use that to weigh, but he just wanted to make sure it was okay and there wasn't any issues, then they go schedule it and have it all on the docket, and then there's something else going on, and then it's kind of,
Do we reserve that shelter or we don't do that?
we have.
They're not the only ones using it, so.
I think we treat it like any other fishing that we have down there, if you don't have them going out.
Yeah.
All right,
So it's just basically information for council.
perfect. Is there anything else that needs to be addressed?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I like the early hour, today's meeting caught me a little hard. I did much earlier.